The night is calm, till you reach a brook and a lone bridge, rickety and rotten. As you pass, it creaks and whines. You clench your teeth, hoping it will be able to hold both you and your steed. You carefully traverse this obstacle and give off a sigh of relief. However, once your guard is down, the night that was once a blanket of stealth and protection glows a fiery red. And when you look up, you see the captain at the helm of the Hellfire Lantern emitting this devilish light. The demon that has been invading your dreams at night. The Headless Horseman. Sleepy Hollow is a quaint town in the Hudson Valley of New York, a part of the greater region known as Tarrytown. Being only 40 minutes north of New York City, you could confidently say that this region holds like an abundance of rich American history. It's said that the Glen of Sleepy Hollow is the home to the original Dutch settlers of the New York area, and the surrounding area is known to be eerily quiet, making its residents walk a bit slower, almost as if they're in a constant daze. This sense of peace and tranquility brings about a hazy, dreamlike nature, one which can cultivate superstition and folklore. The most popular of the bunch this town is famous for is the tale of the Headless Horseman and Ichabod Crane. Sleepy Hollow is a short story by American author Washington Irving written in 1820. The story takes place in 1790 in Sleepy Hollow, where we follow our main character, a well-studied man by the name of Ichabod Crane. I know, crazy, horrible name, but honestly, kind of aura. I'm going to be real. Who comes from the region known today as Connecticut. Ichabod moves out to Sleepy Hollow to be their school teacher, basically, where Connecticut has this big thing back in, like, the olden days. They would cultivate a bunch of, basically, teachers and send them out everywhere in the region just to make sure everyone's educated, which, maybe we should do something like that. However, moving out to this really small town leaves Ichabod Crane not being satiated enough for his tall stature, if you will. He is a man of many likings, I guess. He's big. He's a big guy. He's scrawny. Honestly, he kind of looks like me. I'm going to be honest. And he needs to eat a lot, which I don't blame him. But basically, he doesn't make any money, so he needs to go around and try and find food. Ichabod is really, he's smart. That's the one thing. Ichabod is really smart. So he kind of like weasels his way into all of his students' households that have, like mothers that can cook very well, or older sisters that, could be someone he could marry into the family. Basically, his whole thing is that he doesn't punish any of his students. He just makes sure that they're always on his good side, or he's always on their good side, so he can then go to their house and eat all of their food, which is insane. Basically, he just eats more than he can afford and just goes from house to house, rizzing everybody up for their food, until he meets Katrina von Tassel. That's a hard. Katrina von Tassel, who's the single daughter of a very wealthy farmer. Probably one of the wealthiest in the whole region of Sleepy Hollow, maybe Tarrytown. I'm not sure. The book was kind of just like a short story and an illustration novel, and it's been novelized, so there's not a lot of like things out there unless you're watching the Disney movie, which is good. It's a good movie with the Mr. Toad movie as well. It's really fun. I suggest watching it. But Ichabod basically says, oh my god, single daughter of this rich person. If I marry into her, I can then be the rich person when her dad dies. And that's basically his mischievous plan. However, Ichabod is not the only person with a single brain cell in the town. There is someone who also has Katrina on their mind. Enter Abraham Van Brunt, or Brombones. His name's Brombones. That's his little nickname. He's the leader of a gang in the town, and he's not really like a bad person per se. I mean, he's pretty bad. But at the beginning of the story, all of his mischievous things he doesn't do to hurt anyone. He's just a little guy, he just walks around, steals beer to drink it with all of his friends and stuff, and just plays pranks. He doesn't hurt anyone yet. Brown Bones is kind of like the opposite of Ichabod Crane. He's not as smart, but he's very bulky and big and has a deeper voice, where Ichabod Crane is just very thin and lanky and kind of looks like a bird when he walks, you know what I mean? Eventually, Ichabod is invited to what is called the Harvest Celebration, which we can assume is on Halloween. I suppose. But it's at the Van Tassel farm. So Ichabod sees this as basically he's going to go marry Katrina right then and there. So he finds this like all crumbly horse named Gunpowder, who from someone in the town. And the horse is just, a sight to see, basically. He's not really the best horse, but he's a horse. So he brings a horse named Gunpowder to attend the party with. At the party, Ichabod, for the most part, probably indulges way too much for public comfort. He's just eating and dancing like a crazy person. And also he's the choir master of the town and sings in like the church. So he's just going off the whole thing. And people are like, oh, that's Ichabod, this crazy old Ichabod. Eventually, after they are done dancing, the Van Tassel father likes hearing tall tale and folk tale from all the people at the party. It's just like a big thing. A bunch of the housewives, which I don't even know if you could say that anymore, I'm going to be honest. But all the people there, they would pass the time by telling tall tales about goblins, ghouls, all these things. And Ichabod is just superstition master. He just believes in all of it, and it just makes it so he cannot sleep at night. It's really, really crazy. It gets the best of him. He hears a story of a Revolutionary War soldier who roams the area of Sleepy Hollow at night in search of his lost head, basically. And that superstition really gets the best of him. When he's leaving the party at night, he eventually encounters a rider without a head, and obviously Ichabod is like, what the F? It terrifies him, and he races towards the nearest bridge because, I guess in the animation of it, Brom Bones of the story, but basically the tale of the Headless Horseman goes that if you pass the bridge of the Sleepy Hollow Cemetery, he can't follow you anymore. You just got to go over that bridge. So run for the bridge. That's like the whole thing. If you encounter the Headless Horseman, run for the bridge. So he runs to the bridge, hoping it will save him, and he does successfully cross it. But while feeling that sense of relief, the Headless Horseman then throws his pumpkin head at Ichabod Crane, rendering him unconscious, basically. The very next morning, Ichabod, nowhere to be found. Just nowhere to be found anymore. Except a broken pumpkin and Ichabod's hat. So, what happened to Ichabod? No one knows. It's open for debate, I suppose. But very soon after, Brom Bones then marries Katrina Van Tassel, who, whenever Ichabod Crane is brought up, they laugh very funnily of the story. So, open to interpretation. Do you think Brom Bones did it? Do you think it was actually real? Who knows? But, obviously, this is a tall tale. Unless you believe in it. I mean, spoiler, at the end of the video, I went to Sleepy Hollow, and I filmed all these places that are in the story. And I was there alone, and it was terrifying, I'm going to be honest. So if you believe in it, it's there. You can go there. It's a real place. Washington Irving went to Sleepy Hollow and wrote the story. So where does it come from? Why did he write it? And do people still believe in it today? Well, the country south of the Bronx River, this is what's going to start up our story, was abandoned by the Continental Army and occupied by the British after what was known as the Battle of White Plains in October 1776. Does 1776 ring a bell? I don't know. Probably during the Revolutionary War. The Americans were basically fortified north of Peekskill, leaving Westchester, which is right above New York City, for a 30-mile stretch of what was called neutral ground, which was basically scorched and desolated. It was just horrible there. It was like a no man's land that just like outlaws and horrible people lived in. Droves of Loyalist Rangers, British Light Infantry, and Hessian Jaegers, which are renowned sharpshooters and horsemen, were among the raiders who often skirmished with the Patriot militias in this no-man area. So it's to be said that the Headless Horseman may have been partly based on the rumored discovery of one headless corpse in Sleepy Hollow, New York, after the Battle of White Plains, which was later reburied in an unmarked grave in the Old Dutch Burying Ground, which is the cemetery I went to and I filmed, which will be after I explain this. There is a record of an anonymous Hessian soldier, which are those really cool guys, I guess, that I was explaining before, who was decapitated by a cannonball during the battle, but there is no documented record of his body being buried and found. But according to another hypothesis, Irving could have drawn the figure of the Headless Horseman from German Silesian literature. Yeah, I know, we're really going in deep here. From the Chronicles of Spratow by J.G. Kreis, which was written in the first half of the 19th century. Police counselor Kreis noted that the inhabitants of the city were afraid to move after dusk on Hospitalstrasse. I don't know German. Which is now Stoa Street. So if you're from the region and you know what that is, let me know down in the comments below. Due to the headless rider apparition seen there. A man named Walter Scott encouraged Irving to learn German to be able to read these stories, ballads, and legends in their native language because, as maybe avid readers of the Bible may know, or maybe like any literature that was written not in English, when you translate it over to English, you kind of lose a bunch of stuff. So if you're able to read and understand in the actual language, you probably get what they're trying to get in the story across. You know what I mean? Washington Irving was an aide-de-camp to New York Governor Daniel D. Tompkins, where he met an army captain named Ichabod Crane in Sackett's Harbor of New York during an inspection tour of fortifications in 1814. My light just went out. That terrified me. Well, it's probably dead. It's said Irving may have patterned the character after Jesse Merwin, who taught at the local schoolhouse in Kinderhook, further north along the Hudson River, where Irving spent living a while during 1809. Alternatively, some people claim that in the area of Tarrytown, Samuel Young's a local school teacher, and Irving's friend is the individual in which Irving based Ichabod off of. Who's to say? Probably only Washington Irving, but he's dead. So, author Gary Dennis asserts that Crane is loosely based on Merwin and also includes elements from Young's life. So, I mean, if you're a writer, I've done some writing in my time. Ooh, whoops, moved my camera. I've done some writing in my time. You kind of just take inspiration from a bunch of things. You know, if I'm writing about a school teacher in the Hudson Bay area or Hudson Valley area, I'm probably going to take all the school teachers I know from that area and mush them together if they fit the bill. You know what I mean? So I would not be surprised if Irving based Ichabod off of all these people that he knows and just mush into one person. I think that's how you tell a really good story, because I think a lot of people then can attach themselves to it because they might know someone like Ichabod, maybe just because he's lanky, or maybe just because he's a school teacher. Like, there's a bunch of parts of Ichabod that people can just take apart from him and latch onto. So it just makes the reader want to read the story more because they have some sort of connection towards it. The names of the local residents who may have served as inspirations to Washington Irving's The Legend of Sleepy Hollow are all found on gravestones and historic burying grounds of the Old Dutch Church and Sleepy Hollow. That's where Washington Irving's final resting place is. Also, it's literally located just 100, also associated with locations mentioned in the legend, as are the Old Dutch Church and Phillipsburg Manor House. Manor House probably stood in for the farmhouse of Baltus Van Tassel and his daughter Trina, which I also took videos of. They're still standing, supposedly. I don't know if they're like actually real. They restored them, but it's funny because like you can do. Me and my girlfriend last Halloween actually did like a scripted tour where everyone is playing actors basically of the story following the Legend of Sleepy Hollow, of who they're trying to figure out who killed Ichabod Crane, and it's really fun. So if you ever, I think they only do it during the Halloween area time. I'm not sure, but if you're ever in the area in New York City in the fall, it's literally a 40-minute train ride north. You just get off at Tarrytown. You could walk. It's like really not bad. It's pretty awesome. The Legend of Sleepy Hollow is one of Irving's most studied and adapted sketches, along with Rip Van Winkle, which I have not read, but I probably will after recording this, because both stories are often paired together in books and other representations, and both included in surveys of early American literature and romanticism. I think people always say that America has like no folklore and culture, but I mean, honestly, 3 out of 3 of the stories that I've covered on this channel so far are all with Fahrenheit 51 if you're counting that, but the Jersey Devil 1,000%, and now with the story of Ichabod Crane. I mean, there's just an abundance. I mean, it's so we got Bigfoot. It's great. And so hopefully I can cover more of American folklore. I find it really interesting. But Irving's depictions of regional culture and themes of progress versus tradition, supernatural intervention and commonplace, and the plight of a romantic hero permeate both stories and help develop a unique sense of American culture during the 19th century. So, if you like American literature, thank Washington Irving. I guess he's one of the big heavy hitters, and Mark Twain. But always thank Mark Twain. So, like I said, I did have the chance to actually go to Sleepy Hollow and bounce around to see the famous sights and one of my favorite American folklore heroes, I guess, if you can, lores. I'll say lores. I don't want to call Ichabod Crane a hero. But vlogging JT, take it away. So I'm currently here at Old Dutch Church in Sleepy Hollow. I'm like one of the only people here right now. It's a Monday in the afternoon. But I'm trying to be very respectful and quiet because I have seen some people actually mourning relatives at the cemetery, so I don't want to be too mean about filming here. So I'm going to make sure I don't get anyone in the video, but this is just like the historic nature of this place is amazing, really. So this church was actually used during the Revolutionary War, and there's some pretty famous people buried here actually, so we're gonna go try and find some of their headstones, and I'll talk about some of the history as well while we're going by. But it's a really awesome vibe here, I'll be real. Now, I don't know if you've ever been in what New York City people call upstate New York, what I like to call colonial New York, but the cemetery is like literally right next to a main road. You would think that there's a lot of space up here, but there really isn't. I mean, there's just so much history. You can pass by a sign, you wouldn't even know that George Washington stayed in a house or whatever. But I just passed a memorial for the Union soldiers of the Civil War. I saw Revolutionary soldiers be buried here. Apparently Andrew Carnegie, the Steel Baron, is buried at the cemetery as well. We're going to try and find his headstone. But I'm really just trying to remain respectful. I mean, the history here is just, don't mind the cars, but history here is just amazing. Like, I'm looking right now, 1879 to 1932. And I mean, probably 1878, 1882. I mean, just, there's not a lot of states that you can go in the United States and get history this rich. I mean, there's probably 13 that I can think of, right? But I feel this New York, for some reason, there's just this historical kind of eerie feel that you may not get in Philadelphia or Boston, where it just feels like the woods really took over this place and the people just learned to live with it. And I think that's really beautiful in a sense. And I think maybe that's where the story of the Headless Horseman and Sleepy Hollow really came from, where just the land here is so rich and the people were almost one with it. And I mean, hey, that's how stories are born, right? So I actually went into this experience kind of blind. I haven't even written the script yet for this video, but I'm kind of just aimlessly walking around this cemetery looking for notable headstones. I mean, I'm seeing so many Freemasons here, like it's crazy. I mean, it's New York, right? But I feel like that kind of brings the charm to it. I mean, I'm a little out of breath, if you can't tell, but I'm just, it's huge. It's so just, I don't know if you can see how huge it is, but it's probably more than 2 miles long. There's so many crypts, so many families here. I mean, we're gonna try and find all the ones that are notable. But I mean, if you ever, I don't think Sleepy Hollow is a place that you spend a whole, more than one day, and I don't think, you know, it's not like a Salem, Massachusetts, perchance. But if you ever get the opportunity to come up here, I mean, it's a 40-minute train ride from Grand Central Station. It really is just so easy, and it's just here. I just parked and walked on. I mean, it is Monday noon,
But if it's not during Halloween, I mean, you're pretty sad. I did come here last Halloween with my girlfriend. It was really amazing. We did a tour of what is supposedly where the story of Sleepy Hollow took place, and you know, the schoolhouse with Ichabod Crane, so on and so forth. You know, if that's really real, I'm not sure, but I will try and get some video. It is closed today, unfortunately, but I will try and get some video of that for all of you. But yeah, if you get the opportunity to come up here, I totally recommend it. So if you're familiar with the legend of the Headless Horseman and Sleepy Hollow, you might know where I'm going with this, but based on the sounds you're hearing right now. But the Headless Horseman is said to cross a bridge into Sleepy Hollow Cemetery, and that's like how he always comes in, basically. TLDR, more or less. Unfortunately, that bridge was taken down, but here's the real one right here. Cool. So here's the bridge up close at a closer view. Actually leads to a farther part of the cemetery, but I think they did a pretty nice job making it look pretty old. But I think this is a nice serene area. It really is nice, you know, with somewhere such, oh, it's a little rickety. Somewhere such a history, I think it's not that bad. It really isn't. And here it is, the Irving family plot. See the Irving family, I'll read that for you. The Irving family grave plot, Washington Irving's grave, Irving's home Sunnyside, the old Dutch church of Sleepy Hollow, which Irving immortalized in legend, are National Historic Landmarks. Wow. There he is, right there. 250th American anniversary, I suppose. Same thing with Carnegie, he got little American flags. I think that's just darn cute.
You still even remember that name, but I'm afraid you've been misinformed. You are not here to receive a gift, nor have you been called here by the individual you assume, although you have indeed been called. You have all been called here, into a labyrinth of sounds and smells, misdirection, and misfortune.